So in this chapter, I'm going to teach you another important modifier, that is private. Okay. So what do you mean by private? Private access modifier means private to the class. Private means private to the class. That is, private data members or member methods, basically the private members, are accessible only by the members of same class, or who belongs to the same class, or within its class itself. So basically, if I have any private member here, that member is accessible within the class by other members. That's it. That means private to the class. So to understand this one, I have created this employee class. I have a package called HR. Again, I repeat, see this one and see this one, and write the same code in your notebook and keep it ready and continue practice along with me. These are the concepts. There is no such assignments I can give you for this one. So what I am doing, if you continue practicing that itself becomes an practice. So now I want to create an object of employee and I want to access these guys later. So I'll make them as public. I'll say public, and this also I'll make it as public. Now let's create an object using this constructor, the non-parameterized constructor. I'll go here. One is I have to import HR dot employer star, and I'll say employee emp. I'll say, since I'm going to create only one object, I'll say employee equal to new employee. See, I'm going to get a compile time error now. The reason is because in this part I'll not get a compile time error, but here I'll get a compile time error. Why? You see that employee, this constructor, has got default access modifier if public is not specified, and even the constructor. So constructor is not so different from an member method. It is also a method only. So if you do not make it as public, then by default access modifier will be applied to this. So what I'll do now, let's say I will go and compile this one. Java C private test. Sorry, I'm using packages, so I'll use -d space dot. So private test, then employee.java. Only 2 files. Cannot find symbol. Why is that? Oh yes. Employee belongs to HR package. Let's save this one. This belongs to this. Let's compile again. I have employee. Oh, sorry, there is a typo here. There's a typo here. Employee. I was testing you guys. What you guys are doing? Really? Fine. So as I told you, in this part we are not getting error, but only in this part we are getting error. That says the employee constructor is not public in employee, cannot be accessed from outside the package. So how do we deal with this now? I'll go here and I'll make it as public. So, and again, if anybody want to create an object using this constructor, it is not possible, but within this class we'll be able to use this constructor to create an instance. So I'll keep this also as public. So I have a method which is also public. So everything is public. So we'll go and compile this, and we are able to, it's compiling through. That is employee dot some value, employee dot name equal to the great Vinay Nova. Then I hope you all agree with that. Salary equal to, what's the salary you want to give to Mr. Vinay Nova? Let's say 0. Anyway, by default it will be 0. When the whole earth is mine, why I should expect a salary, isn't it? I'll go and print this one. ID, name, salary. So let's compile and execute this. Java space test dot private test. Perfect. It looks amazing, isn't it? So now there is one problem here. Don't you think the salary information should be private? It should not be accessible to anyone. It's a real world use case scenario, right? So let's assume like this. Say someone who is working on a library module, a person who is working on a library module, and even the employee has an what in a company they have the library. He will come and will take a book. The library module, whoever developing, why do they need salary information? Of course, they need ID and name, but why do they need salary information? It is accessible to everyone, isn't it? So what I'll do now, I'll restrict it. I'll make it as private. So now if I go and compile this, compile this, I get an error. Says salary as private access in employee. So how do we deal with this problem now? We successfully restricted it. So like I told you, accessible by members of same class. So we have to create a member here. Using which we should be able to what? Access the salary outside. How is that? I'll say public void set salary. I'll say double salary. This dot salary equal to salary. Make sense? So now here, instead of calling it as dot salary equal to 0, then I'll say set salary. Makes sense, isn't it? Bechara, let's give him an what? Good salary. Is it enough? Or maybe this will do in terms of dollars. Now that error is gone. Which one? Earlier there are two errors. Now there is only one error. Even we cannot access it to get the value also. What we should do now? We should create another method. Public void get salary. Sorry, not void. This time I am going to return the value of salary. So I'll say double. Here I'll say return salary. Here I need this because there is an ambiguity. Here there is no ambiguity, so I can simply say salary, or I can say this dot salary. Doesn't make any difference. Now what I will do here, I will say get salary. Let's compile and execute. Clear? So this makes sense. Now the question you might be having is, if you are giving work to your brain, why don't I just simply make it as public and let them to access when they are able to access through these methods, isn't it? So I'll give you an hypothetical situation. Don't take this as an exact example to justify why we need private members. Let's say somebody will ask for what? Salary information. So what I'll do, I will ask them to send an what? A PIN or password. So now if PIN dot equals, so let's say salary, let's say password equals or something like that. Okay, tell me, any one of you, your email address, password or something, I'll write it here. So let's say top secret. So if it is equal to that, then I will return the salary. Else return, I'll say -1, so that they never know what exactly the salary is. Does it make sense? Okay, but in the real world, this is not exactly it works. Okay, I'll just comment this for the understanding purpose. So, but with this real world example, you're able to understand it makes sense to make an what data member as private, isn't it? So I'll keep one method called get salary. I'll remove this and I'll say like this. In Java, there's actually one concept called getters and setters. What do you mean by getters and setters? Now know this. This is very very important. Pay complete attention. Okay. By convention, all the data members should be marked as private. So ID should be private, name should be private, salary should be private, and we should have a one get method and one set method. Say for example, when we make the ID as private, then we should have one method called set ID and one method called get ID. So this is called as getters and setters. So why we should make that one? For the one of the important product design, a software design, it's called as one of the important design principle which we follow. It's called as coupling. We've been studying about cohesion, remember? So like cohesion, there's a one more concept called coupling. Coupling means how much a class knows about another class, which I'm going to explain in the next video. But from now onwards, any code you write, you should mark all the data members as private, and you should have getters and setters for them. Okay. And why this concept is so important, I'll give you an example using an ID in the what next video itself. Okay, that is about the private. See you in the next class.